Check, check. Yeah. It is 6:01, and I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 for the Lake Worth Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. Roll call, please.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we're going to go a little bit out of order. We're going to have our swearing in of our new members. So,
Thank you, Madam Chair. David Tolsis, Board Attorney. If I could ask for photo purposes, Mr. Mahler to join Mr. Zerdy and Mr. Wolin on your right side. If you could stand and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I, state your name, will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida against all enemies, domestic or foreign, that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same, and that I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution and the Charter of the City of Lake Worth Beach, and that I will faithfully perform all the duties of the office of appointed member of the Lake Worth Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, on which I am about to enter. So help me God. All right, congratulations. Okay, so if you all have your oath, you could sign it and give it to Emily Fiodosakos, and once again, congratulations. Thank you. One other thing, Madam Chair. So under the statute, CRA board members at their first meeting are to disclose if they own any property within the CRA district. So I would just ask, Madam Chair, if you could ask the board members, the new board members, to disclose whether or not they do.
new board members, please disclose whether or not you own any property within this CRA district. Yes or no?
No. Yes.
And
I do not. No.
And just for the record, that was Mr. Wolin, Mr. Zerdy, and then Mr. Mahler. Thank you.
at this time, do we have any additions, deletions, or reordering of the agenda? No? Okay. At this time, we're going to have public comment on non-agenda items. If the public would like to make a comment on a non-agenda item, please step to the podium. Okay, at this time, please take a brief look at the minutes from the past two meetings from July 8th and August 12th. And if you have any corrections, please let me know. If not, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the July 8th, 2025 minutes.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Pass. At this time, we're going to have the consent agenda.
Oh, we have one more minute.
Well,
I'll move to approve the August 12th, 2025 minutes.
Ah, I'm sorry. We
I'll
did them
second that.
separately. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay. Now we'll have the consent agenda.
I'll
for
move to
item,
approve consent. Oh, I'm sorry.
yes, we can make a motion for all three of them. We don't have to do them separately. And so I'm looking for a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll move to
Motion.
approve. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'll move to approve consent.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It passes unanimously. Okay, the action agenda. The first item, item A, is for the chair position, nominate and elect.
Madam Chair, Board of Commissioners, every few years, we elect both a chair and a vice chair to lead the CRA. It has been 2 years since both Carla and Leah have been appointed. So at this time, we ask that you either have a motion to reappoint one as chair or elect somebody else to be the chair. And then once you guys are done, it goes to the city commission for approval.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and I think the chair and vice chair have done a fabulous job. And I would like to go ahead and nominate both the chair and vice chair to retain their positions on the board. Is it okay if I do them both at the same time?
Separate.
David. Okay, then I'll start with the chair.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you.
I would like to nominate the Leah to be the vice chair, continue as vice chair of the CRA.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now at this time, we'll have the executive director's annual review discussion.
David Tulsa's board attorney. So you have in your agenda packet the agenda item related to the executive director's annual review. And I know that there are three on here who haven't necessarily been able to work with Joan over the last few years, but you are still eligible to participate in the discussion and any vote that may take place. So pursuant to Joan's most recent contract, which was approved in 2024, the board is to engage in an annual performance evaluation on or about August 1st of each year. And following the annual evaluation, the CRA board may award a salary adjustment of no less than 6% or the increase in the most recent 12-month CPI for this region, whichever is greater. The latest CPI is included in Exhibit B to your agenda item. So at this point in time, I would turn it over to you, Madam Chair, for a discussion related to evaluation and any motions related to any salary adjustment.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to hold our discussion first, and it's been a lot of things that have happened in the last couple years. So I'll why don't we start with Donna, and then
I'll just touch on some of Joan's achievements and CRA's achievements, ones that have been outstanding for me, seeking outside grant funding, especially the pro housing grant awarded from HUD with Riviera Beach CRA, the emphasis on affordable housing with our partners Habitat for Humanity and Community Land Trust. I think that the commercial retail attraction program has been impactful. And I won't touch on WMODA and the demolition of historically contributing structures and the city garage development, which are, I think, somewhat contentious, lots of pros and cons about them. But in fact, Joan has done an outstanding job as executive director. And I know some of the more contentious issues are coming from the city commission themselves. And so it's hard to kind of countervail what commissioners' wishes are. But I think, Joan, you've done an outstanding job, and as have Chris and Emily. So thank you.
Drew.
Yeah, thanks, Joan, for what you've done. I mean, the one thing that we can agree on here is that we've got one of the best, if not the best, in the business with respect to making things work and making things actually happen with respect to our mission. And I want to give Joan tremendous kudos for putting us in a position to redevelop L&M with a museum and bringing in the parking garage parking solution. There's lots of details that'll be contentious about it, but the fact that we're in a position to actually do this is very impressive. Um, and I was there the first time it went around, and I just don't like how it would have gone if it was back to commercial residential. But now we've got some incredible amenities to go with this, and this has been very difficult to navigate. But I think, Joan, you've done a great job at it, and I just very much appreciate you putting us in this position to do this for Lake Worth Beach. So all good on my front, and so I'm very supportive of all this for Joan.
Leah?
So I think, Joan, this has to be one of like the worst things to have your compensation and review in a public meeting, but I totally understand why we need to. I think you're wildly effective. I think your staff is wildly effective. The leadership that you've brought to this position has been incredible. And I don't think anyone could deny driving around town that the CRA and its work have had an impact. So you're great.
Gentlemen, I don't want to put you on the spot since this is your first meeting. If you would like to make a comment, that is fine. Please do.
So obviously, from the perspective as a board member, I have absolutely no opinion. But other than what I've seen in the last 10 minutes, but however, as a resident of the city, I feel very comfortable in saying that the direction that the organization is going and the activities that have taken place is one of the reasons I was interested in serving on this board. And so obviously can't speak to the specifics of activities other than the overall gestalt of where we are as a organization and as a community. Thank you.
Give me a crack at it. So I've sat up here before a little while ago, but I know Joan for a long time. And a lot of what's happening over here in the city is due to her organized and focused attention to things that really was not of the right priorities in years past. And she's hung in there. I mean, with all due respect, I'm happy you have, but it's been a long haul for you, and we still would like for you to keep hauling and staying. So, from a lot of different reasons, I think we'll be fortunate to keep having you around and working with you. So I'm all for keeping the emphasis on her, and also the staff is great too. Thank you.
Richard?
So I won't, I'll say ditto to everything. I won't belabor the point. But again, as I am new to this board, so I haven't worked formally with you in a professional capacity. But what I have experienced as a resident, long-term resident, is just remarkable what you and your staff are able to achieve with extremely thoughtful, impactful development here in the city, and what you do, like my colleague said, for affordable housing. It impacts a ton of lives that might not be seen by the greater public. So thank you for your continued service. And I look forward to work with you.
Joan has done an outstanding job over the past years, and I've worked with her, and I know that she works really, really hard. But some of her accomplishments, and also Emily and Chris, they've worked well together to bring us banners, Day of the Dead, Circuit, our many festivals, the housing courses for new-time homeowners, home buyers, and also the whole body of work that goes along with affordable housing. It's just not finding the land. It's making sure that the deal goes through. It's making sure that everyone is held accountable. It's all those details that we normally don't see. And so I think that Joan has done an outstanding job. And I know that we're all looking at the CPI index, and it's currently, I guess, an estimate is 3.3, but we know that that's probably going to go a lot higher in the coming months, starting next month. So the minimum increase is at least, I believe, 6%. And so let's have a motion or talk about that a little bit so that we can just move this along.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you just want to leave the increase at 6%, you don't have to make a motion
Okay.
because she's automatically entitled to that. If there's anything above that, that would require a motion.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of staying at the minimum. I think the minimum is the floor of what, to David's point, it's our mandatory. And I think Joan's service has exceeded what one would set as a floor. I could be persuaded as to what that number ought to be, but I think we have to be 6% plus.
Does anyone have any thoughts as to what that number ought to be?
I'll say 9 for sake of a number to start with.
How the rest of you feel about 9%? Go ahead.
I think we'd be comfortable with 9% given the fact of the timing that this is happening here right now, and we want to make sure that somebody else is not enticing her to come and scoop her up. So that would be fine with myself, or a rounder number like 10, but 9's fine. I'm concerned. Thank you.
I could be persuaded to 10.
I'd like to hear from the other board members.
I would concur at 10.
Donna, you have a thought?
Yeah, I mean, I would say either like 9% is fine or 10%. So it's always like a little bit of an odd position right now. I feel like it's like if there were a horse here or a goat or a sheep or a camel, I would like take a branding iron and put a little, so Joan, sorry. When I was working in Iraq, I was actually worth a bunch of camels and a couple of goats for the dowry. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm fine, Joan. I'm fine, board members, esteemed board members.
Okay. I'm very comfortable with 9 or 10%. 10% is a nice round number. And I think that we'll be getting a lot closer above 6, higher than 6 in the coming months. So I don't want Joan to be persuaded to leave us. And we have to remember that she is in such demand, because people look far and wide as to what the city of Lake Worth Beach does. And to be such a small city, we really move the needle, not only with affordable housing, but bringing income to the city. And that's partly due to her leadership and the staff that she has. So I'm very comfortable with 10%. Since it is higher than 6%, we have to have a motion.
Could I have one question? Are we allowed to ask Joan what she might prefer? That's out of order, David. I mean, we're all together here looking face to face.
Spotlight.
So awkward.
It always is.
I really mean when I say that I am touched by everything that you've said. I'm honored that you feel so highly about me, and I would honestly be happy with 6%, 9%, 10%, really. I enjoy working here. I enjoy working for you. I enjoy working with my staff very much. And I hope to be able to bring you lots of projects in the next few years.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve her new salary at 10% on top of her current.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, and we've had discussion. do we actually invite public comment for this? If you would like to make a public comment regarding this issue, please step to the podium. Okay, no public comment. Okay, now we've had a motion and a second. It is time for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. At this time, we're gonna discuss the CRA commercial grant programs for the fiscal year 25-26. Chris.
Hey, good evening. For the record, Chris DeBrose, Lakewood CRA. Welcome new board members. So tonight we're going to talk about the grant programs, the CRA commercial grant programs that we offer have been offering almost every year for the past 20 years. We try to do this every September to go over each individual program that we have, all the programs that are available to commercial property owners and business owners, what can be applied for, how the programs are set up, and any changes that you guys may want to see to it. So like I said, for almost more than 20 years, the CRA has been offering some sort of incentive for private commercial property owners, businesses. For the past 15 years, we've had the facade grant programs. Then we had the interior grant program for interior build out. We expanded it for a small sign grant program for business owners. And then we also have the public infrastructure grant program, which is for large scale development which is a development that's going to invest more than $3 million into their project in the city. So it's usually like some sort of mixed use project. That's the least popular program. The most popular ones are facade, tenant, and the signage grant program. So those four programs, there's four applications. They were submitted in your packet. They all pretty much look the same. All have a little different, have different requirements. The facade and tenant programs, those must be applied for only by the property owner. Only the property owner receives those funds after the project is done. The signage grant program could be applied for by either a business owner or the property owner for the business that's going to go into that property. Those grants are up to $5,000. Those are paid directly to a sign company after the project's done. So the other two programs, again, the most popular ones, the tenant improvement and the facade ones, each of those programs offer up to $50,000 in matching funds. The two of them can be combined together for $100,000 in total funding for a project that comes through. This year we have budgeted $500,000 for all the programs, the four programs. Now, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not, because we could have 5 good projects come through and that would pretty much wipe out the budget if we don't increase the budget. In addition, we just want to remind you that these grants are not to be used or not intended for any deferred maintenance, any regular type of maintenance, to remedy any type of code violations. It can remedy code violation, but that can't be the sole reason for the applicant providing applications. So we got a lot of interest for people that want to just do a roof or just do a little bit of landscaping or their pipe burst. That's not what the grants are for. These are for a comprehensive, complete renovation of their property with the intent of hopefully a new business coming in, offering new employment opportunities for the residents. Any type of overhaul of the project. We like to see architectural plans, professionally produced plans when these applications are submitted to us. We offer the grants beginning October 1, which are beginning of our fiscal year, and we're supposed to stop taking applications at the end of May the following year. Projects have 1 year after the project comes to you to get approved. The project applicant has 1 year to complete the project. Problem that we've been having recently, and I've put it in the staff report for us to discuss, is a lot of these projects are taking longer than a year. So what happens is they come to us, request an extension. Recently, they've kind of been taking advantage of our kindness, and they're going beyond that extension. They want another extension. And this is causing them to basically hold up CRA tax dollars while their project stands still. There's various reasons for this, but we need to stop this and remedy this as soon as possible. pull back our funds. The last thing we want to do is revoke grants, but it may be possible or maybe time to start doing that for a couple of projects that are sitting out there. And we'll talk about that later this year if we have projects that don't come to completion. Request that we have this year is that any grant project that gets funded and goes beyond 18 months, those applicants have to come back before the board to request an extension and for you guys to review it and listen to their case. The grants are not for nonprofits or any type of religious institutions. It's only for private business owners, commercial property owners within the CRA district. That's pretty much a brief overview of the programs, the 4 programs. So if you want to discuss it and discuss anything that you might want to add to the programs or delete, now would be the time. We're looking for a motion to approve the grant applications with any type of additions or deletions you may have, so we could start getting these on the street within the next few weeks. There's a lot of interest. We get calls and emails every day, and we have to tell them that the programs are not available until October 1st. So that's what I have. If you have any questions for me, let me know.
As I move approval of the grant proposals as presented.
I did have a question prior to that motion.
One second. That can be the motion, and then we can have the second, and then we'll have a discussion. So do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and now we can have a discussion. Did anyone have any questions for Chris regarding this?
Yeah, I'll jump in after then.
Okay.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, John.
So I know that there's a lot of preparation by a potential grantee prior to even submitting things to you. Know the process well. So they would have gone far enough along with their intentions and desires of the property either they own or are about to own, but they have to own it, correct?
For the commercial
Yes.
facade and the tenant improvement, they have to own the property, the parcel.
Time's ticking on me part too, unless they're in business already and they want to, it depends on the scope of the project. But what I'm getting at is, I don't know where the 18-month period of after they're awarded the month or awarded the grant, then the 18 months starts from that point.
The 1 year starts.
1 year.
They're awarded the grant. They sign an agreement a few weeks after that. That 1 year period starts to get the project done within a year from when they sign the grant agreement. They go more than a year for various reasons. The city, they allow them blame the city, allow them blame the contractors or whatever reason. At the 1 year mark, they come to us and staff will give them an administrative extension of 6 months. So that's the 18 months.
I see. But then you're saying there's instances where this has been labored. I would see if this board would like to entertain a revision to that they would have to come to the board and give us an update. So why they would need to be given an extension, because then we're a little more abreast of exactly what has happened, and they'd have to come and just not talk to us. They would have some set pictures or whatever so that we can adjust if they're in trouble or there's a legitimate reason why they need an extension even after the 12 months. If you wait after 18 and then they delay it again, and it just, now that messes up the whole budget, and it's really a problem. So I would see if this board would like to revise that section to come before us in 12 months to discuss an extension, if you'd be up for something like that.
No, I agree. And I think it's one of the things that Chris, that you recommended in your, to us in your explanation. Along the same lines, looking at this is really helpful. I'm looking at Exhibit A right now.
Mhm.
And I also had some of these same kind of questions about why the delay. And I know, so I guess some of my comments are about why the delay on some of these, but also about the quality of the work and how much leverage do we have. And some of these things just look god awful, horrendous. So, you know, I know we approve things, we get them, you do a lot of work, a lot of the front end work on getting the packets to us, and we, in our sageness and our wisdom, we look at things, we look at budgets, we ask you questions. I try to ask intelligent questions. Sometimes I just make less than intelligent. But seriously, you know, but some of this, all kidding aside, is like some of the work looks crappy. Some of I don't know what's going on with some stuff, and I don't know what leverage we have to hold the grantees accountable.
They need to do what they applied for, what's in their original grant package. The plans that they present, that's what they have to do. As far as quality goes, they need to get permits from the city. They need to get inspections from the city approved. They need to have those permits closed out by the city, which means the work is done satisfactory. And they have to pay all their bills to their contractors. If that's not done, they don't get the funding from us. So anything less than that is subjective.
Yeah, and I think part of this other thing, and again, I don't want to point fingers right now, but I know one of the qualifications for this is looking at retention of businesses and looking at number of jobs created. But we also have the in and out kind of burger on this. People come in and people come out. And we're not really able to retain businesses. Again, we're looking to make some good judgment calls on things, but do you have any kind of, not advice, but how are you ensuring that we're able to retain the businesses that we've invested in?
I don't in regards to retaining businesses. There's grant projects that we fund, that we award and fund that are A+, and there's some that are D-. And it's just, we try to really, and there's a lot that come to us that are D- and less, that never come in front of the board. So anything that does come in front of you, should probably 10% of all the applications we get are worth funding. There's a lot that we get that don't even make it that far.
If I might, for the programs like the Interior Improvement Grant Program, we do record a 2-year lien on the property, which is to ensure the property is not sold or refinanced and that the improvements are maintained. So we do have that leverage, at least for those 2 years.
No, thanks. I'm aware of that. I just was kind of more along the lines of, while this is still in progress, what kind of leverage do we have? You know, as we know, people are delaying, grantees are delaying, and how do we hold their feet to the fire? And
well, yeah, I mean, they just don't get funded until the project's complete. Number this, so that's, yeah, they don't get reimbursed at all. There's nothing at all. So again, they don't get paid out unless the project is closed out with a permit. It's done to our satisfaction, as we're satisfied with what the work that they've done, and that they haven't sold the property or anything like that as well, and that they haven't in violation of the agreement.
just one final question. What's your take on, and I'd really like that we reduce the amount from 10K to 5K. What's your take on, so we can encourage more small projects to apply for grant assistance? How do you think that's working so far?
It's the same amount of work on our side, if not more, to assist these property owners that are need those small grants. We really haven't had anything that small. I think the smallest grant that we've given out is $16,000 or $14,000 for the facade or tenant improvement. One of them, the business is turned over. The property is still in the same ownership, but the business is turned over 2 or 3 times, and that was only for $16,000. Another one is a simple project that's on the list for $14,000. That still isn't complete, and that's dragged on for almost 8-9 months now.
Which one is that, Chris?
701 Lucerne Avenue.
Right. I have a question
Okay.
regarding the exhibit.
Thanks.
And Kristen, in looking at the exhibits, you're stating that the lines that are in green are, please explain the difference between the yellow and the green so that we'll all know and be on the same page.
The green ones were funded this year. They haven't extended. they still have however many months to complete the job before their 1 year mark. The ones in yellow have received at least one extension, or maybe in some cases 2 extensions.
Now, I think in clarifying the motion, because when I was reading it, you recommended that if there was an extension which surpasses more than 6 months. So at the 1 year mark, you were granting, the staff was granting the extension of
Correct.
6 months.
Correct.
Now, your motion was to say that at the 1 year mark, the person would come before us again, and the staff would not be automatically granting them a 6-month extension. Am I understanding that correctly? Okay. And so the motion is actually changing the staff recommendation. And so when we're voting, we're going to change it.
I think that's the way it's written, Madam Chair.
No, it says
18 months comes to.
No, maybe I'm reading something different than staff proposes that any grant extensions would surpass more than 6 months of the initial 1 year grant period require board approval. Isn't that what we're just saying?
No,
No.
that's not. What we are saying is that at 1 year mark, staff was granting a 6-month extension. What the motion before us is to say, at the 1 year mark, the person has to come back before the board. That's- Right.
Question?
Mhm.
Chris, how many of the grants that we've been given are done within 12 months versus 18 months?
Very few of them go past 18 months.
But how many of them are done before 12 months? I mean, what I don't want to see is if the normal expectation is that for reasons maybe in their control, maybe out of their control, if no one's getting them done within 12 months, but they're all getting done within 18 months, then I'm not sure that coming back before the board would be that necessary. Now, most of them are done in 12 months, but some of them go to 18 months. Then it's not,
Yeah,
I don't see an issue.
A small project, the siding projects will take less than 12 months. The larger ones for complete renovation. But let's take, for example, Oceano, which was a huge project, huge renovation project. That took 4 months. But then we have other ones that were very simple renovation projects, which are going on 18 months. So it's all luck of the draw.
And at the time that it comes back before the board, is the board deciding that we may no longer offer that grant to that person? Is that the decision that we're actually making because we are tying up the CRA's money? And when a person submits their application, they submit it with all of their proof and all of the contractors and all of the things that they're going to do. And so they have a year to act on what they've submitted to Chris at that time. And he works with them when he's looking at their application. It's a long process and he works really hard. And so when he brings it to us and we approve it, that person has a whole year to do everything that they said that they would do it when they submit the application. So I don't think it's unrealistic to have them come back before us, at the time at 1 year. And certainly the people who've had 2 extensions past that, would we have to now tell them, I'm sorry, you've had 2 extensions past your 6 months. We need to make a decision as to whether or not we can continue obligating the CRA's money to your project. And how would that process work?
I think it would depend if they're in the middle of it, right? So we don't want to say, sorry, you're not going to get the money when they're in the middle of it. But if they haven't started yet, then we need to take the money back. Absolutely.
I'm kind of a little bit familiar with development and construction and all myself, but if they come before us in 12 months, it may not be to necessarily request an extension at that time, maybe, or I'm just saying it would be for that, but the decision doesn't mean no more funding. They need maybe at a certain part that they've gotten some done, we can verify what has, and they get modified the amount of the grant, so it will free up the rest. And that gives everybody an incentive. I know if you're going to get reimbursed, you want to get reimbursed as fast as possible.
Right, but what I would not want to encourage is people, because one of the reasons we have the grant is that it increases values, right? And if you hand in an application and you have 4 things on there that you say you're gonna do, we might grant it because it's comprehensive in nature and that's what we want. If you turn around and you only do 2 and then come back and say, well, I can't get the other 2 done, we're not gonna give them part of the money, right? So we need to kind of figure out like, where's the line there?
And I think from the board's perspective, if somebody comes back in 12 months and you're not satisfied with the work that they've done, how much work they've done, then you as a board would certainly have the right to say, you didn't meet your end of the bargain. You didn't complete it within 12 months, so we are not going to approve an extension. That's a reimbursable grant. So they would have had to put the money out anyway. It's just on the back end, they're not going to get that reimbursement and you retain that right. And I think that's a leverage you have to make sure that if you're committing money that could go to another project and somebody doesn't do the work in a timely manner, that you're saying, okay, we gave you a shot, you didn't do it. We have other people in line, so we're going to reallocate those funds.
Megan? Chris, are the extension requests do they tend to be timely? Or do people blow by the deadline, then they come to you and tell you they need an extension?
Well, we ask, how much more time do you need?
Okay.
And it's pretty informal. And it's written down, it's provided to them that they have till this drop dead date
Sure.
for each extension.
And I like the idea of having people coming back before the board to explain the status of the project, but I'd like to see, I think, a de minimis exception to that. If we're talking a $15,000 grant, I think there should be some number at which Chris has the discretion or our staff has the discretion to make that decision.
It's up to you. I also just want to point out that the 1-year time period is only for the 3 grants for the public infrastructure grant, because they're for larger projects. I think they have 2 years to complete the project. So just keep that in mind also. Without an extension.
I just had one question.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
so estimate, how many, if we say come back within a year, estimate what percentage of them would probably be before us?
For the ones that are out there right now, which are in yellow and green, you may have one coming back to you in this October, next month. So for the sign grants, you shouldn't have any.
So it's more the renovations and
The renovations, I mean, most of them, I'm going to say majority of them.
come back.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, my feeling is, my dad had a saying that it just stuck with me. It says things take longer than they take, right? And so I kind of I understand coming back at 18 months, but I kind of like giving staff the flexibility to make their own decision. And you could make a decision to say, we're not comfortable giving it, or want to take it to the board to give it, right? And that could be in your discretion, but sometimes it could be, I need a couple more weeks or something like that. And I kind of like the flexibility of staff to at least give them a little bit of time versus them all having to march up in a year. But that's just me.
And at 9 months, do we send them, or could we send them a letter to say your grant year is going to be up in 3 more months?
We do that now. We send them emails for asking for updates, plus we're constantly, I'm constantly looking at their, how far they are with the city process as far as inspections go and the permitting and all that. So they can't use the excuse of the city's holding up my permit or anything like that. We want to make sure that they have the permits and they're been approved.
And so we would send them a letter to say, at the 1-year mark, we will reevaluate this application, or we would have the board, you'll come before the board or something so that they'll know, because it may get them to finish within that 3-month period, or at least be more conscientious about getting it done. I like the idea of coming back before the board at that 1-year mark, because I think, and certainly the ones that are past time, we probably could have all of them come, and say, look, we can't continue to obligate our money, and you've had several extensions. So we do have to do something as far as being able to close it out.
Just to a suggestion or a question, and I don't want to make more work for everybody, but for the sake of also information for us about progress on these projects. So a progress report of some sort. So I know I get lots of questions from people like, hey, I see a CRA sign. What is that project? What's it going to be? And I'm kind of like the information person, but even sometimes I'm looking at the list and I had to honestly go and Google some of these things to figure out what did we approve, and
Yeah.
it's going back a little ways. And then I looked at Blue Front Rurus and I thought, oh, hasn't that been like a year already? But then I looked at the date here and it says March 1st. It feels like it's been ancient.
That may be coming back to you guys early
Yeah.
next year. Yeah.
Terrible color, by the
Yeah.
way. I've had lots of comments about that. I mean, I can go through the list, but I don't want to put this on public TV or YouTube. But lots of comments from people and friends just saying, "What the hell are you guys doing?" So, just would be nice to have more progress and more knowledge about what's actually going on with them. Not
Do
that
that,
we could,
yeah.
not that we can impact their color scheme, but
Project's
you know
not
where I'm
complete.
going with it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then one last one, I promise. I just, the impetus of my comment really was to have you have a little more leverage and pressure on them that they know they've got to make it move quickly. It doesn't mean we would chop it off because we may hear, oh, we're, 1 month, we're gonna, so, okay, give you another whatever. It's up here, not to make more work, but I think you could tell them, well, you're going to be in front of, you really, people come to you, then I'm sure you hear a lot, and we could take some of that load, let's call it, off of you guys, where and there's a level of intimacy there because you know them the best from their applications. And I just thought we would be better to see the seriousness of their intentions or their problems that could be unforeseen or not under their control, and help move this stuff along. I understand. And are you comfortable with this adjustment that we're proposing? Maybe?
Well, I think I'm comfortable with giving them an extension as we are doing right now for the 6 months. No problem. And during those 6 months, if there's no real progress being made, they need to come and give progress updates and request additional time from the board. Unless it's going to go 6 months plus another few weeks or something like that, So.
I think, it's, I think to me, bringing stuff before the board is work too, right? I mean, there's packaging, there's coordination, there's all kinds of stuff. And I just reflect on Village Flats and when they stand up here, we get sympathetic, right? And so I'm kind of like, I'd like for Chris to have the option to say, well, this, I'm uncomfortable giving you the extension for 6 months. You don't have a great excuse, but you can address the board, right? Give him the ability to bring it to the board and not have to make the decision at the staff level himself. I kind of like that, but I'm going to do what the rest of the board wants. And I'm in government myself, and so I get worried about over governmenting a little bit. But that's so I trust these folks to do what needs to be done on these things. And a backstop is important. The 18-month backstop is important. So I'm definitely in favor of that.
I think that concludes the discussion. Please.
If I recall, we had a motion to approve what was there, but potentially you wanted to amend it.
So you have a motion and a second to approve the grant program as presented. If somebody wants to amend that motion, make a motion to amend it. With a second and a vote on the amendment, and then you would vote on the amended.
I, I would make a motion to amend it to allow Chris to bring it to the board if he seems that staff wants to bring it to the board after 12 months for our review.
Doesn't the current situation already provide that, or does that require us to amend the procedure? I guess that'd be my only question. So Chris, I mean, if something in 12 months is a question mark, does the current policy or procedure allow you to bring it to the board, or is it just, because technically the grant is over at that point? So, I mean, if you don't want to extend it, it has to come back to the board, doesn't it, or not?
At 12 months, they need to provide in writing. Right now, at 12 months, they need to provide in writing the reasons for the delay, and we use, our reason, we reason with them whether it's extended or not.
And do you have the authority within that process to say, no, you got to bring it to the board, or do we need to grant that within the structure? I mean, I'm okay with what we're talking about, but I don't know if we need to change anything to get it done. I guess that's my
The
question.
rule doesn't exist yet.
Okay, so we need to change the rule to allow you to come to the board at 12 months if you choose.
Correct.
Okay. I'm good with that, to amend my motion to support what we've just been talking about. Leave that to council to develop the
Well-
proper language, or how do we do this?
Well, I'll just say from a legal perspective, my only concern, and I have, trust Chris implicitly, is the fact that you're leaving it his discretion as far as whether or not it's going to bring it to board or not. Right now, he is permitted to grant that 6-month extension at 12 months. And then anything beyond that has to come to the board. So I know he'll treat everybody equally, but there's always that circumstance where somebody might complain that, well, why didn't they have to come to the board? He's making me come. So I don't know if that puts Chris in an awkward position or not. Okay. All right. So right now the motion is to adopt the grant program with the ability of the CRA staff and or executive director to forward any requested extension after 12 months to the board for approval.
If it goes, and I don't know if I want to amend the motion, but if it goes to 18 months, can we make the board approval more mandatory or more, well, no.
When they come back to you after 12 months, if they come back to you after 18 months, you're going to be able to set whatever the parameters are.
So
with
it will come
respect to that.
before us.
After if they grant an additional extension of up to 6 months, following that, it will have to come back to you for any further extensions.
Okay.
So this might be the lawyer in me, but I'm in agreement with our counsel here. I think it's difficult to start imbuing discretion. And frankly, people already are frequently happy or unhappy with us, and I would hate to give the unhappy folks a potential cause of action.
So that was my real reason for it, was to help you move things along. If you don't think you need that, then if you all don't think you need that, it's the pressure.
I think after 18 months, they need to come back to the board, period.
Not
I mean,
necessarily.
Chris can give him the 6-month extension, but after that, no more.
That's good with that.
So from what I'm hearing is the amendment's withdrawn. And we'll go back to the original motion to provide for the approve the grant program with the ability of staff to grant up to a 6-month extension. Anything beyond that would have to come back to the board for approval. Is that Mr. Commissioner Wong, is that correct? Is that your motion? Right. And Ms. Kerner, I believe you seconded it originally. That's your second?
That is.
Okay, so now you have that motion before you. To approve as is, staff are able to give up to a 6-month extension. Anything beyond that has to come back to the board for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, if there were
Let the
public-
record reflect that there are no members of the public present. Okay, now go ahead.
No, I didn't forget. I didn't see any, but no. Now, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
and this time we'll have the executive director's report.
As many of you know, we met with new board members today, and Richard had a fantastic idea that all new board members have to volunteer at Day of the Dead this year.
I'm not sure that I proposed that. I offered my services.
No, on a serious note, if you are available to volunteer, we would love to have you. Obviously, we're super small staff and need all the help we can get. And I know many of you have been extremely generous with your time these past few years, and we appreciate that. For sponsorship, if you happen to know anybody who you think might want to be a sponsor, might want to be a vendor, please contact Emily. We definitely need more sponsorships. It's definitely dried up out there this year. And obviously grant funding is extremely hard to get. And last but not least, our annual Lake Worth Cultural Renaissance meeting. The Cultural Renaissance Foundation actually puts on the Day of Dead. We'll have our annual meeting on October 14th at 5:30. So it's a half an hour before our regular meeting. Hopefully you can all come to that, and we'll talk a little bit about the budget and what we have on that. And last but not least, I just wanted to express my gratitude to the board and to my staff for all your support and all the nice things you said now and before. And I really do appreciate it. I guess I mean it when I say I really do love working here. There's days that I don't, but for the most part, I really feel like what we do is important and what we do is necessary. And sometimes we have to make the hard decisions. And but that's on you guys. So thank you and have a good evening.
Okay,
Can I ask for, Joan, we approved some transactions for Village Flats, or have those proceeded? How's that going?
So phase 1 is still under construction.
Uh-huh.
Phase 2 has not started construction yet, and phase 3 does not have permits yet.
Yeah, but has it transferred to the new? That hasn't happened. I couldn't
No,
remember.
The phase 1 is currently under construction. Phase 2 should become under construction. When the permits for phase 3 are issued,
Uh-huh.
which should be by the end of October, then we will close on the conveyance of the property and the assignment and all that stuff.
That's what I was getting at. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. I do, sure.
Okay, I think we're, at this time, we usually have board member comments. If you wanted to make a comment, you certainly can. If not, we will have a motion to adjourn. Any board member comments?
Sure, I'll start off. What I'll say is I'm happy to have 3 new board members. Nice to meet everybody. John Zerdy, I've met you and we've done some work together. So nice to be working with the 3 of you, gentlemen. Really good meeting, and I'm also really happy that we kind of hammered out some more details on these the grants program, and that we're able to have a good conversation about Joan and all of her merits and achievements and accomplishments. So happy to have you. Thank you. And staff, of course.
I'll echo the comments welcoming the new board members. And Joan, every year when we do this for you, I think to myself, I'm so glad I only have a compensation committee and not like the wider world watching all of this. But seriously, you do a great job. We're lucky to have you.
Anyone else? I wanted to welcome our new board members. I know all of you, and I'm really pleased with the selection that the commission made. I think we will bring a lot of insight to our board, and I think that we're going to have a great next 3 years. So thank you all for putting in your application, and we're very happy that you got accepted. Now, can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second, third,
All
and
those in
out of
favor?
here.
Aye.